Everybody, it's Wendy. Welcome. Today we are going to make some really fun cards using acetate or window sheets. This is a sample of the first one we're going to make. I do want to mention that I am making this cool card for a challenge and I need your vote. So if you'll vote for me, I would really appreciate it. There is a link in the description below this video where you can go vote for my card. And the card you just saw is the card that is over there to vote for. So it's called something like when thinking of you when you're feeling blue, I think is the name of the challenge. So what I have here is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of acetate that I had already folded in half. You just saw me do that. And I burnished it with a bone folder. Then I have a scratch piece of paper here because I wanted to show you how I do my cutting for this. I line one of the points up, because this is going to be for the cardstock that I show you in a minute. I line one of the points up at the 3-inch mark, and then I used a ruler to show where my lines were to line the other point up at the 1 3/4 inch mark, so that I have a piece of cardstock that looks like this. It's got the slight slant at the top. Now I just showed you that on a piece of scratch paper because I've already cut these out and I did that beforehand so that I would just have them ready to go. So now we're going to put the card together. So the card base is actually just this clear window sheet, and you can barely see it there on my table, but it's there. And then I have these 4 pieces of Whisper White cardstock, thick. They are thick pieces. And I've cut those out doing that method that I just showed you. I'm using fast fuse adhesive to adhere these down. You want to open up the card so that you can really see the corner edge and make sure that you're lining this cardstock piece up over the top of the acetate just right. If you have the card shut, it's really hard to line it up because you have that other piece underneath. Okay, so then I'm turning the card over and I'm going to put this piece on the back of the inside flap. So the reason I'm doing this is because if I didn't, you would just see all my adhesive sticking through when you open the card, and I don't like the way that looks. So if that doesn't bother you, you don't care that you can see the adhesive when you open the card up, then by all means just disregard and don't add that piece. But I don't like that, so I wanted to add the other piece. Okay, so now I am adding my inside flap piece so that I have a place to write my little note when I give this card away. And I'm going to go ahead and add it down, stick it down. And same thing on the back of this. So this is the back of the card now that I am adhering this to. And that is so I can stamp my little Made by Wendy Cranford stamp on the back of the card. If I didn't do this, then I would have nowhere to stamp. And plus I don't like seeing that ugly adhesive showing through the back of there. I also think it adds a little bit of mystery to this card for the recipient, because they could be thinking like, wow, how did she do this? Because the top of it's totally see-through. You're going to see some reflections there of my lights and different things like that because I am using acetate or a window sheet. By the way, Stampin' Up! Does sell these window sheets, so if you need some 12 by 12 window sheets, we do sell them in the catalog. Okay, so then I have a little die cut here that I've cut out of Elegant Eggplant cardstock. It's got nice, rich, bold purple. Excuse me. And I am using the Sunburst Sayings stamp set from the new catalog. And I just love this stamp set and the die cut that you can get with it. It's a bundle. You can bundle it if you want to. I'm sorry, Sunshine Sayings. I said Sunburst. It's Sunshine Sayings. And so it has all these it's got 4 different cutouts with words, and you're going to see those in just a minute. Love, hope, sunshine, and congrats. And then the stamp set itself is awesome. It has all kinds of sentiments in it. So right now I'm just using my Tombow mono adhesive that's mixed with regular fine tip glue pin glue to put this flower down that I've cut out. Now you notice I'm using tweezers. I highly recommend using tweezers when you're working with something this delicate. And this is going to overlap from the white to the acetate. So in this moment, as I'm laying this down, I realize I forgot a step, a whole step. I just left it out, didn't even do it. And I'm going to go ahead and improvise and add it at the end, but I was really disappointed after I adhered this down that I screwed it up and didn't adhere the piece I was supposed to. So I'm going to trim off the end of this flower because there's a little bit sticking off, and then there was a little bit of acetate sticking out of the bottom of this card, so I went ahead and trimmed that up too, so I would have a nice flush bottom there at the bottom of the card. Okay, so on to my stamping. I am going to stamp in Daffodil Delight ink, and I'm going to use the sentiment Sending You is what I'm stamping, and then Sunshine is what I've cut out of Daffodil Delight. So I'm using my Stamp-A-Majig here, and here's how you use a Stamp-A-Majig. Put your little plastic piece down, which you can't really see, but it's there. It's lined up, pushed up into the corner of that black piece. Stamp your sentiment down, and then you have a guide for exactly where your sentiment's going to go. So I'm just kind of like lining it up here, and I can see right through that clear plastic piece so that I can figure out where I really want to place this part of the sentiment. Hold that in place, bring in the little black Stamp-A-Majig piece, re-stamp, and then stamp down using your Stamp-A-Majig, and then you have a perfectly lined up sentiment. You don't have to worry if it's going to come out crooked or not in the right spot. It's just perfect. I absolutely love this tool. It's one of my very favorite tools that I have. Okay, so this bundle is in the catalog on page 97. It is $45 for the bundle, which is the stamp set and the die cut set together, which is a really great deal. You save 10% when you purchase the bundle. And it cuts, like I said, some really fantastic stuff. So here you can see the little Sunshine die cut that I already have cut out. And this is the part where I'm like, okay, this was the part I forgot to add. If you look on my blog in the link in the description below, there's a link, and this was supposed to go across the top around at the diagonal. But since I forgot to add it, I ended up having to add it down here at the bottom. And it worked out fine. I just don't like it as much as I like it the other way. But it was too late. I was committed. And so this is how it came out. And you can see the picture on my blog of the other one. I think I like it a lot better. So I'm going ahead and adhering my stem back down. And I have my little gray and white designer series paper piece that's cut at 1/4 of an inch going across the bottom there. And like I said, it's not bad. It's just not my favorite. And then I've got my little Sunshine piece, and I'm going to just show you really quick how I cut that because it's so simple. These words are nice and fat and thick, so they don't get all crammed up in your framelit or in your die, and that's wonderful. So I'm just laying this down, and I'm going to run it through my Big Shot really quick. And I've already layered 2 of these cutouts together that you just saw laying on my table. And then I'm going to layer this one down as a 3rd. So when you do that, it almost creates like a little bit of a chipboard piece. And I really like that because it's almost like having an embellishment for your card. So I went ahead and got this all glued up, and I laid it down right on top of the other Sunshine word. Tweezers are my best friend lately. I finally figured out that it was just so much easier to handle this kind of stuff if I would use tweezers. This is one of those things, this is like pulling a Wendy. This is the kind of stuff I do. I am one of the most hard-headed people you probably ever meet in your life. And it's not out of orneriness. I simply am lazy, people. That's what it boils down to. In my head, using the tweezers was one more thing I had to deal with on my craft table. So I have seen people use tweezers, and I'm always like, it's so much work, one more thing. Well, it's because they're smarter than me. That's what it really boils down to. They're smarter. They realize using the freaking tweezers makes your life easier. And so here you see me doing it the old way that I've always done it, which is with my hands. And I'm like all thumbs, so I fuddle things around all the time. And so when I finally just embraced the tweezerage, it like has been the best thing ever. Using the tweezers is so much easier than dealing with this fine cut little stuff with my hands. So use tweezers. Take my words of advice and just use tweezers for any small die cuts. Even here, you see this. I'm using my hands. If I would have just used my tweezers, it would have been so much more easy. Life's lessons, right? So anyway, I got this all adhered down. Now on my other card that I will show you at the end, and I actually have a couple of other projects to show you as well, so hang tight with me, because this is a fun card to make, type of card to make. So I made a couple of them for you. So on my other project, or on my other card that I did just like this, I also took glossy accents and went over the top of this sunshine part to make it shiny. And that looks really cool. So that is my finished acetate card, my first one. I have a whole nother one for you. I'm going to show you that in just a second. Okay, here's another project I made. This is a little bookmark. I'm kind of on a bookmark kick. I just used the acetate and added stuff to both sides and put the word love on it, and then added the glossy accents. And then we're going to jump into making another card. I normally don't make two cards. See there? This is the way it was supposed to look, with the little gray and white stripe at the top. That's how it was supposed to look. Anyway, moving along. This is the stamp set and the die set, Sunshine Sayings. You definitely want to pick those up in my online store if you have a chance, because they're so super cute. All right, now I'm going to use the Pretty Kitty. That's not a cat, that's a dog. Bella and Friends stamp set to create another one of these cards. And this is super cute, super easy, and just kind of pretty much like the first one. So I'm just folding this and burnishing the edge here to get this all smushed down and in card fashion. This one's a little bit smaller. I think it's cut at 4.5 by 4 1/4, so it's not as tall. I have some of the Birthday Fiesta Designer Series paper, I think is what it's called. I'm blanking on the name of this paper. And I'm layering it down on all the sides, just like I did on the first one. The difference is this one's not cut at a slant, so it actually makes this card a little bit easier to do, because you don't have to spend the time fussing with if you've cut it correctly or not. So this paper is called Festive Birthday. I was right the first time. Festive Birthday. I have my catalog right here in front of me so I could look for you. And I'm going to get all of these pieces layered down. The one thing I did differently on the inside of this card is I cut an extra piece of Whisper White cardstock at, I think it was like 2 1/4 by 4 inches to layer on the inside of the inside flap, so that I had a place to write, because I didn't want it to be like covered in this little streamer stuff and then no place to write my little message on the inside of the card. Okay, so I'm using my fast fuse to do all of these layers and get all these pieces put down. And then I'm going to add my Whisper White and move on with decorating the card. The decorating part of this card goes super fast because I didn't do anything intricate. I wanted to keep this one super simple so that I could see two things. One, how quickly I could get it put together. And two, I wanted to know if it would still look as cool with just a big piece that wasn't like an intricate die cut at the top. So I die cut out these scallop circles from the Layering Circles die cut set, and I put one on the front, and then I'm going to put fast fuse on the inside, on the other piece, and I'm going to put it on the inside of the card because I wanted to, it to line up with the front one perfectly so that you didn't see the one in the back. So I'll show you why. See, you can see all that adhesive poking through. I don't like that. I don't like the way it looks at all. So I have to cover that because it bothers me. Again, if it doesn't bother you, don't mess with it. But it bugs me, so I have to cover it. So I'm covering it up, and really you could put another sentiment right there. So when they open the card, it was like looking at you. That would be really cute, or whatever. You could do lots of different things. I'm using this little bird. His name is Skittles. Her, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I named it Skittles because that is who this stamp set was designed after. Was my friend Angie designed this stamp set using a little dog, which is based off of her real dog Bella, and then her parrot Skittles. I guess it's a parrot. I really don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know much about birds. I have chickens, and that's where it ends for me. Birds scare me. So I'm going to layer this piece down, and this was cut out of those same Layering Circles framelits. And then I pre-made this little thanks sentiment exactly the way I made the sunshine one, except with this one I stacked it up 5 times. So I cut 5 of those little die cuts, poked them out, and then layered them all together to create the thanks sentiment that goes across the bottom. And this is cut in Tempting Turquoise, and the little layering circles were cut in Melon Mambo. And then I'm going to do a little bit of Copic coloring on Skittles just to add some color to Skittles because Skittles is green in real life. So I went ahead and made Skittles green on this card. And I really, really love how this turned out. I mean, it's just super, super, super cute. So I thought it was just such a sweet card and so fun. So I'm using YG06 to color Skittles in. This is probably one of my favorite green colors in the Copic collection, or I should say in the Copic collection I have. I do not have all the Copic markers. So out of all my greens, this color is probably my favorite. So I went ahead and colored Skittles' body all in, and then I'm going to go in with some G14 to add a little bit of shadows on Skittles, and then color in his beak and the little heart hanging out of his mouth. So real quick before I let you go, I want to give you a few reminders. One, if you've watched this far into the video, you're a trooper because most people don't. So if you've watched this far and you're listening to this part, leave me a comment below and let me know that you did so, because I just think you're awesome, and I'll make sure to respond to your comment and tell you how cool I think you are. Number 2, if you're looking to get some Stampin' Up! Product, I would love to help you out. You can purchase Stampin' Up! Product from me in my online store. There is a link below this video in the description where you can purchase. Click on it and go to my website, and then you can order from there. We do have a special going on this month. Every $50 you spend through July 31st, you get a $5 coupon emailed to you, and you can use that $5 coupon in August. So it's kind of like Kohl's Cash. I don't know if you have a Kohl's where you live, but here in California we have Kohl's, and sometimes when you shop you get like a rebate to use at a later time. So anyway, that's something cool going on. And then we also have a release coming up of a brand new stamp set and bundle, or a stamp set and framelit set that's a bundle called Thoughtful Branches, and you're going to be seeing more about that from me in the coming week. If you want free tutorials from me, you can sign up for my newsletter or my email list over on my website. Again, link is in the description below. And you can get free tutorials from me. And I think that's everything. I really have enjoyed my time with you today. I thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can email me at wendy.cranford@live.com. I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.